Hey, everybody. Very excited to announce a brand new feed, playlist, show, whatever you want to call it here on Old Man Squad Fantasy Basketball and the Old Man Squad Sports Network. This is Snack Size DFS featuring my old buddy Brenton Eckersley, where he will bring you a condensed version breakdown of the upcoming DFS slate. It's the first time we've had DFS content here on Old Man Squad Fantasy anything, Old Man Squad Sports Network. So we're very excited about it. Brenton does incredible work. I'm stoked and over the moon to roll out this debut feature where, again, you'll get to hear from me for about 30 to 50 seconds at the front end and 30 to 50 seconds at the back end, just kind of introducing the show and getting you guys situated. Brenton is going to be handling the meat of this program, and that's going to be coming up here in just a matter of seconds. Here on the very first one, I figured we could take just a second or two to kind of get everybody situated, what to expect. Well, the Friday card is coming up. We didn't want to roll this out during NBA Cup slow nights. It's not going to be every single day. It'll be on certain cards. It'll be dependent a bit on when Brenton has time and when we can get this thing produced and sent out to you guys. But it's going to give you a really nice overview of what games to look at, what areas to attack, and we'll try to give you a few hours to get those lineups set together for your DFS card. So really cool, amazing addition to this platform. I've worked with Brenton many times in the past. He is outstanding. He knows his DFS. He is an Aussie, which you guys all love that. I know it. I know that crap is true. And yeah, let's get this bad boy cooking, right? What are we waiting for? Brenton, take it away.
Hi guys, welcome into a brand new DFS video slash podcast on the Old Man Squad Network. My name is Brenton Eckersley and welcome into Snack Size DFS. What we're going to be doing with this format is taking a look at DFS fantasy, daily fantasy sports for NBA, but we're going to be doing it in a very small segment size. So there are a lot of podcasts out there, videos out there that can run an hour, 90 minutes, even longer. And not all of us have that time, right? So I don't have the time to sit down and listen to a 90-minute podcast to enter teams into DFS lineups anymore. We've got kids, we've got work, we've got all that stuff going on. So I thought that there was a little bit of a hole in the market out there for people who love DFS, who still want to play DFS, but just don't have all that time to research and really get into the nitty gritty. So I've tried to take that problem away and done a little bit of research for you before the slate starts, and I'm going to try and basically bring you a compact version of DFS plays that I love for the Knights card, and kind of compact that down into 8 to 15 minute snack size bites, I guess you'd say. I just want to thank Dan Besbris for allowing me the platform and bringing me back on. I've worked with Dan before, and look, let's just get into it, right? There's beginners out there, there's people out there, as I said, who don't have time, and hopefully this format is helpful for you guys. So let's jump in. We'll be using DraftKings prices as we do these segments, and today we have on the Friday card, December the 13th, we have 8 games. DraftKings have split that up mostly into a 6-game slate, and there's a couple of extras. There's a 2-game slate as well that you can play, the San Antonio Portland game and the Phoenix Utah game. So I'll quickly dive into those as well. Let's get into it, right? So first up, the first thing I want to do every time we record is just give you a really quick overview of some of the games that you can look at to attack pace-wise, total-wise, how many points we're expecting to see, and the lower games as well, ones to potentially avoid. If you're trying to make decisions between a couple of players, we can look at those fast-paced games and the slower-paced games, and maybe that'll help you make those final decisions. But what we're here to do is basically build you a platform or a base, so that you can quickly lob in a couple of lineups. This may be more suited to cash plays, to be honest. If you're just a single lineup player, then cash games are probably the way to go. Let's rip into this. These intros are not going to be as long every time. We'll probably in future episodes just jump straight into the card to keep this as short as possible, which is the name of this game. So let's get into Snack Size DFS for Friday, December the 13th. Couple of game notes regarding pace and potential blowouts. The Washington-Cleveland game's going to be fast, 232 total, but we can probably worry about a blowout there, so I tend not to play higher price guys in potential blowout games. The Chicago-Charlotte game, that's a fast game as well, 231 total expected. That should be a lot closer, so that's one we can potentially look at. Lakers-Minnesota, that's the slow one of the day, so 214 game total points expected, and when you're making decisions there, it's probably worth thinking about that we're going to have, quite a spread there in terms of a lower total potential. Teams to attack. We love to attack Washington, so Cleveland, beware of that blowout. We love to attack Chicago, Charlotte playing them today. That should be close, so as I said, that's a fast one too. It's an ideal kind of matchup. Later on in the day, we've got San Antonio versus Portland. You can attack the Trailblazers. That should be close, so not a bad option there. And Phoenix versus Utah. Utah are terrible at the moment, so giving up lots of fantasy points. Potential blowout, though, again, be careful. So the main 6-game slate, the first game of the day is Indiana-Philly. There's not much here I really like. We're just going to highlight a couple of names from each game that you can use as a base and then build around it. TJ McConnell is one of the only guys on the Indy side of the ball that I really like. 5,200. He's coming off a huge game. He is a bit of a risky play, but 5,200, he should get to 5x pretty comfortably there. Obi Toppin's been doing well lately. 4,600, but he's a bit of a dart throw. He has been more consistent lately. He's just a secondary option for me. The rest of the Indiana team are kind of priced reasonably, so I'll just leave them alone. Embiid. On the Philly side of the ball, he's come straight back in and put up 55 DK points. So at 9,500, I do like him. With George, Maxey, everybody else playing, he's probably the only guy on the Philly side of the ball I'm looking at. Washington, Cleveland, as I mentioned, potential blowout here, be careful. But Mobley has come up as questionable, so Dean Wade would be the dart throw there. He's only 3,800 on DK, which is reasonable for a guy who's put up 23 and 26 fantasy points in his last couple of outings. And that would only be if Mobley is out. If Mobley is out, then Jarrett Allen probably gets a fair size bump, but only if Mobley is out. He's 6,800 and hasn't really been doing it too well this season. 6,800 if Mobley is out, I'm willing to take a few stabs at him. On the Washington side of the ball, we've still got Brogdon, Kuzma, Kaishawn George out. That leaves it wide open for Champagnie. So I think this is one of the chalk plays of the day. 4,500 on DK is just too cheap for a guy who's coming off 42 points and 34 points. All those guys are still out. I see no reason why he can't smash through that value again. He's one of my favourite plays of the day. And Koulibaly at 5,200, he's coming off 35 and 32. So again, those other guys are out. The usage and scoring has to go somewhere. So Koulibaly is a nice differential to Champagnie at 5,200. Also against Cleveland, the Washington Wizards will have to play Valanciunas more, and he's coming off some big scores of 51-42. That 42 DK points last game out was in 22 minutes, so at 5,500, I do like J-Val. Moving across to Charlotte and Chicago, we know that LaMelo is still out, although he is coming back pretty soon. So Micic at 5,100, coming off 34, 29 and 37 DK points is a pretty rock solid play. Miles Bridges is now questionable. $6,000 on DK. He's well worth a look if he's back in. He's coming off 39, 35, 49, 29. So that's a decent shout at $6,000, and he will, if he's back in, he's going to knock a lot of value off of Brandon Miller. Nick Richards is 5,800, but I'm only playing that if Vucevic is out on the other side of the ball. He is questionable at the moment, so if Chicago's Vooch is out, I'm probably more interested in Nick Richards, 5,800. Giddey's questionable on the Chicago side. Look, I'd normally look at Desumnu, maybe a little bit of Lonzo, Kobe White, but they're all reasonably priced this time, so I'm just going to pass there. We know that Vooch is questionable. If he can't go, then Jalen Smith is pretty much a smash play at 3,500. And we may get some more Buzelis, 3,600. He's coming off some decent scores, a little bit more risky, but his last four are 31, 29, 19, and 10. So you can see the risk involved there. But at 3,600, if you need someone cheap, sure, drop him in. Lakers at Minnesota. So we know that this is a slow game, 214 game total when I last looked, but we have no LeBron. So LeBron is out. AD is priced at 11,000. That's one of the highest priced guys on the slate. But his last two games of 67 and 60, that means he's definitely in play at that price point. LeBron out heaps. That helps a lot. So AD is one of my higher price guys tonight, no doubt about it. Austin Reeves looking like he's going to play. I'll probably pass on him at 6,300. And Reeves coming back, I did have some interest in D'Lo and Rui. D'Lo at 6,100, he had a smashing game last time. If you need that mid-price play, look, he's not a bad option with LeBron out still. Rui at 5,500, he's coming off some good games as well, 33 and 43. Just be aware that Reeves is back. That's going to take some usage away. Minnesota side of the ball, honestly, all of these prices are reasonable. It's a slow game, so I'm passing on the mini guys tonight. Brooklyn at Memphis. We still have no Cam Thomas. We have Dorian Finney-Smith back. He's at 4,800 and he jumped straight back into over 30 minutes in his first game back. So you can look at DFS for DFS there. Claxton is ramping things up at the center position a bit as well. So 5,900. Look, I don't mind that. He's coming off 30 and I think his second to last game was 51, or it might be the other way around. His last game might have been 51. So he is well worth a look at 5,900. Memphis, look, honestly, not too much here. Ja Morant and Desmond Bain are both playing, so there's no real bumps to to some of the peripheral guys. I do like Triple J though versus Brooklyn at 7,600. That's pretty good value. I will be having some shares of Jaren Jackson Jr. and Santi Aldama. What a season! Just continues to cook. The DK pricing seems to be really good value tonight. 5,600. His last four scores: 35, 36, 18, and 44. So at 5,600, you can definitely have shares of Aldama. Lakers at Denver. Jamal Murray is questionable. If he comes back, that's basically going to kill any value in Russell Westbrook and peripheral guys, I would have thought. Guys like Braun and Michael Porter Jr., they're going to be just priced reasonably and I won't be interested. If Murray is out, I still like Westbrook at 6,300. That price is getting up there, but you know what he can do any given night. He's just a stats machine, so he could push 45 DK points if Murray is out. Jokic is very highly priced. He's the highest priced guy, rightly so tonight, 12,500. I will be very interested in that if Murray can't play. If Murray's out, you look at his last couple of scores for Jokic, it's 90 and 85. That is insanity. All the usage, all of the players going through Nicola. So, yeah, if Murray is out 12,500, that's not a problem. I'll pay that. And again, if Murray is out, if you need some value play here, you can look at Julian Strawther for 4,000. On the Clippers side of the ball, if Coffee starts, I like him at 4K. His last three games, 21, 28, and 21. Look, it's a little bit of a dart throw, but again, we need some lower price guys. If he starts, Amir Coffey's a definite play. Just keep in mind that Harden is back, so he's going to kill the real bumps around him from the last game. Kevin Porter Jr. at 4,200. The last two games have been really big, but again, Harden is back, so it is a bit of a dart throw between him and Coffey. There's only $200 difference. I'd probably look at KPJ if Harden's going to be back, but I would still rather KPJ over Amir Coffey. The last two games of the day can be found on a separate card. Phoenix and Utah. Look, I don't have a lot of interest here due to the pricing. It's just very reasonable across the board. KD is back. So we're pretty much back to business as usual in Phoenix. That basically kills off your Royce O'Neals and Grayson Allen plays. Nurkic is in as well, so your Plumlee, your Godara, Bol plays are in the toilet too. Pass on most of the Phoenix guys. On the Utah side of the ball, we've got Clarkson and Markkanen both probable. So once again, that kills a lot of value on the Utah side of the ball. If Markkanen happens to be out for whatever reason, I like to play John Collins in that instance. If Clarkson can't play, I like to play Sexton. But honestly, if Clarkson and Markkanen both play, the only real interest I'm going to have is Keontae George at 6,300. He's been doing pretty well this season. He's starting to make a lot of shots, so 6,300 is not such a bad price. Last game of the day, San Antonio at the Trailblazers. With the center position, we have Ayton, Klingon, and Robert Williams all questionable. So it's really going to depend on who plays at center for the Blazers. If Robert Williams plays and we know that either Klingon or Ayton are out, one of those guys, he's a play at 5,200. He can put up fantasy points in a big hurry. The only other interest I have on the Portland side of the ball is Scoot. Pretty terrible this season, but he is a dart throw at 4,700. I like to see the price dip below 5,000, and then I'll have a look at Scoot. On the San Antonio side of the ball, Wemby at 10.6 is okay. It is versus Portland, who give up fantasy points everywhere. But honestly, at that price, I'd probably rather just play Anthony Davis with LeBron out. Sohan's minutes low in the last game. Last two games, actually, I think. But 6,500 is an okay price. Keldon Johnson's out, so that does help Jeremy Sohan a little bit, and also Devin Vassell, 5,300. That's probably the best play on the San Antonio side of the ball here. His last four games, 29, 31, 34, and 19 fantasy points. So that is not a bad option, especially with Keldon Johnson out. We're just going to quickly jump back and check the news to make sure I haven't missed anything that's just come up. Let's just refresh that page. No, everything's as is for the slate. I just want to thank you for listening in. This has been Snack Size DFS with Brenton Eckersley. You can find me on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, at Terrain72. TERRAIN 72. And we will see you next time, guys. Thanks for joining us.
And that was my good buddy Brenton Eckersley with your very first edition of Snack Size DFS. Make sure to follow him on social media at the addresses he just gave you. Terrain72. Super easy to both spell and find. And remember to like and subscribe. I'm hoping that this is something that we can do more often as time allows. I thought it was, that was outstanding. I don't know anything about DFS, so there's no way I'm doing this stuff myself. And Brenton brings it. The dude knows his stuff, and he kept it short and sweet so that you guys can use that information and go out and make that DFS lineup. Thank you so much to Brenton. Thank you for all of you guys for liking, rating, and subscribing. Snack Size DFS is not going to have its own channel. It's going to have its own feed on our YouTube page. So it'll have like a playlist where you can click into it, but you can find it on the YouTube homepage as well or the Old Man Squad homepage. And as far as after the fact, it will be dropped into Old Man Squad Fantasy Basketball's channels with just a little disclaimer at the beginning, DFS episode, something like that. So you guys will know where to find this stuff. Have an outstanding night. Good luck on your slates. We'll talk to you guys soon.